Then all of a sudden their wife is like, why is my husband at the White Rabbit? He chased us out to the Uber, pulled his pants down and said, you don't want some of this? And then he pinned me up like a pressed ham and then bent me over and growled in my ear.
Here we are, the first ever episode of Saucy Secrets Golf Clap.
This would be the politest thing we do during the show.
Absolutely. Will we remain on air for the entire show? We're not sure. First episode, first show every week, joined by dating, relationship and sex columnist Jana Hocking.
Hello. I'm so glad to be doing this with you, MC, and apologies in advance.
That's completely okay. My eyes, my ears, I'm open. Look at we've got an incredible set. We've got lights, we've got mood lighting, and we've got just like sex toys lying around. Like there are literal dildos on set, thanks to the legends at Juju. And we're going to give away one of these.
We are.
A little later on in the show.
Tried and tested, highly recommend.
Not this, oh no.
Well, not that one.
Not that one.
You're
that
already flustered.
Sorry, I am. Wow, okay. And this is just the start. Now, we thought we'd sort of kick off the show by sort of introducing you, getting to know you and understanding what it is and how does one become a dating and sex columnist. So I guess it's getting to know you.
Getting to know
all about you. So what I've done, I've come up with a list of questions and I'm just going to fire them at you one by one so we can understand who is Jana Hocking, what makes her tick, and how did she end up in this weird and wonderful world of sex and dating?
It's so fun.
Right.
I just love when people ask me, what's your job? And I say, sex columnist. And they're like,
How does one practice, I'm assuming? All right, question number one. How did you become a sex columnist?
Okay, so I did study journalism in uni. Mm-hmm. And then I went off and went into TV and I was a producer on The Bachelor and Getaway, world's best jobs in the world. And then I was in radio and I was dating this toxic man, as you will learn to discover is my type. And I said to him, I was looking at all these articles go up on news.com. I was like, I could write an article like that. And he was like, you could not. Oh my God, how embarrassing. You could never get an article up there. And my little brain went ding, 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 ding. Well, now I have to get an article up there.
Really supportive guy.
So I was like, oh yeah, he was the worst. And so I was like, okay, what will get picked up immediately? Like I need this up in the next week just to prove a point. So I was like, I'll write about my boobs. So I was graced with a great set. Thank you, Mum. And I decided to write this like 1,000 words on why my boobs can often get in the way.
Okay.
Went viral.
Yeah.
Kicked off. They said, well, can we have some more articles?
About your boobs or other things?
Like a lot of them at the start were heavily based on my boobs.
Okay.
I went for the low-hanging fruit. And then I started chronicling my dating life because obviously I kicked him to the curb as soon as I could. And it just went off from there. I didn't know people were as big a pervs as me. We all want to know what's happening in the bedroom, who's having more sex than us, how are they having sex? And so I was happy to turn it into a full-time job.
Have you ever had a walk of shame? Because everyone's had a walk of shame, right? But a walk of shame so good, it was actually worth telling people about.
This one went on national TV. Yeah, this one was at the Logies.
Okay.
And do you remember the Today Show would do live from the Logies?
Oh, yeah.
Crown Plaza.
Carl's come straight from the after party to the Today Show set.
It was the best. It's my favourite moment in TV. So I had been at the Logies and hooked up with a home and away star.
Alf, obviously.
Not
Shout out to Raymar. Flaming mongrel.
That would be so hot. And it's not a hard no.
Raymar slide into the DMs. I'm sure he's big on Insta and TikTok.
And the next morning I was like, oh God, my hotel room was the opposite side of the foyer and all the Today Show was set up in the foyer. And there is a video, my mum saw it, talk about timing, of me walking in the background of the Today Show set, holding my high heels, the ball gown from the night before and mascara down my face, trying to discreetly get back to my hotel room.
That's so grim but so incredible all at the same time.
I should be horrified. I'm quietly proud.
All right. Since kicking that loser to the curb that you mentioned a second ago, you've, I'm assuming, been on a couple of dates, met a few people. Who is the most famous person that you have had special cuddles with?
Well, it's well documented because we got papped. So I have slept with Sam Burgess.
Big Sammy B.
Sammy B. And it came about in the craziest way. So I was at a bar in King's Cross with 2 girlfriends, and he walked in fresh off his court case from his ex-wife going through their divorce. And he was with his lawyer, Brian, and he spotted me. And a week before, I wrote an article that said why I'll never date football players again. And sure, it just happened to come out at the same time that he was going through a very high-profile divorce where his wife took him to town saying what a terrible guy he was. Now, I had dated – actually, I've also slept with Todd Carney, which the article was originally about. This was pre-sprinkler. I
was going to say, did the bubbler happen in the bedroom as well?
No, it didn't. And dude, it's so embarrassing because I actually slept with him before that. And then that went viral and a lot of people knew because we actually dated. And then they were like, ew, you've been with him. It was the first time I've been mortified to be aligned with a football player. But he came into this bar I was in King's Cross, took one look at me and went, you. And I was like, oh God. And he goes, you wrote that article. And he really went angry at me. And my gorgeous little friend Jessie was with me and she's Irish and fiery. And she took him to town and was like, you leave her alone. She's allowed to write whatever she wants. He felt so bad. Like this little 5-foot Irish girl took Sam, who's like, what, 6'3"?
100 feet tall.
To town.
Yeah.
He was shocked. And I just stood behind her going, yeah.
So how does it get from everyone screaming at each other to everyone screaming at each other?
Metaphoric. Yeah, there was some screaming. So then he felt so bad. So then he got a tray of shots and brought them to our table and he's like, I feel really bad. I'm sorry. Let's do shots. And then it just took off from there. But we didn't know we were being papped. So then we, of course, left the bar together because I'm not going to hook up with a 6'3" dreamy giant. And the next morning he dropped me off at my apartment. And then I got a call from a journalist saying, we know you were at a bar with Sam Burgess last night. And I was like, no, I wasn't. No, I wasn't.
Didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Innocent.
And then so then I called him and he was like, let me call Brian, my lawyer, and we'll find out. And so then Brian called the bar and the bar said, oh yeah, the photographer came in after you guys left and was asking everyone, what were they talking about? So then we're like, oh no, they have photos. And then the Sunday Telegraph the next day went viral with pictures of he and I. They didn't get the worst pictures because we were all over each other in that bar, but I was wearing joggers. Why was I wearing joggers?
Crimes against fashion.
That's what I was upset about.
Leads up perfectly into my next question. Now, I mean, you've been doing this now for a little while and you're writing for some of the biggest publications on the planet. And with it, your fame and notoriety is growing. So have you ever had an instant where someone has been scared to approach you, buy you a drink, go out on a date with you out of fear that they could be your next story?
I would say 90% of men definitely do. I get the weirdest guys because I get a lot of guys who want to be written about. And they should not because they're usually the worst.
It's like notoriety for them. They want to brag to their mates.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I'm sure there are guys out there who are like, I've slept with her, who haven't. Actually, I know there are because a guy sent me a message and he's like, my best friend said he slept with you. And so I said, well, send me a picture. Never seen a guy.
See this? This is a radio show, baby. You can correct all those wrongs now.
Yeah.
They're not the ones that can say it anymore. Didn't happen.
Didn't happen. But the ones that probably shouldn't probably did.
What's the worst date you've been on? Because I would assume some of the horror stories are what make the best articles, right?
I'm never sad to go on a bad date because mentally I'm already writing it in my head. I got ghosted once by a guy who was so nervous. He was sweating and he was like he couldn't structure a sentence. And then he went out for a cigarette and just never came back. But all I kept thinking was I was crying on the phone to my friend. Oh, no. And then he went, wait, that's such a good article. Stop crying. And I was like, yes. It went viral. I was so happy with that. But the worst date was a guy. This was before I started writing about my dating life. He met him at a bar. We were making eyes, decided we were madly in love within 30 seconds of chatting. But then he got really drunk. He was a surfer and decided to show me his party trick which was to take his front teeth out. because a surfboard had smacked him in the face.
Oh, so he wasn't like 95 years old and wearing dentures.
Not yet.
Okay,
like, if he
that
was
could
a
be the
millionaire,
next story.
maybe. But no, this guy was like a young, hot guy. And then halfway through the night, he just took his teeth out and was giving me this big gummy grin. I was like, oh, you're disgusting. So then my friend and I kind of tried to exit and sit at a different table. And then at the end of the night, he saw us leaving and he chased us out. I wish I was making this up, but he chased us out to the Uber, pulled his pants down and said, you don't want some of this? I did not want some of this.
Who said chivalry's dead, right? Now, I guess this whole career that you've been able to create and it's landed you here on the radio started with just a simple Q&A on an Instagram one Monday night and look at where it's got to now.
It was lockdown. I was bored. I was slightly horny. I wanted to know people's saucy secrets, so I asked them and they came flowing in and now we've got a national radio show.
Hey, so we thought let's get the DMs onto the air.
Yeah.
So it's not just us being pervs and telling our stories to find out what's happening in the bedrooms of those all around Australia. And really exciting to say we have our first saucy secret here.
Yeah.
Do we like that?
She's popping our cherry and I'm very happy about it.
Good.
Yeah. What should we call her? Because she wants to be anonymous. So
What's a really sexy name? I was going to say, is Charlotte a sexy name?
I keep thinking Candy.
Candy?
For some reason.
Okay. Are you
Candy sounds very 80s, doesn't it?
Would you like to pick your own alias? It's completely up to you. Saucy Secret Anonymous.
I think Charlotte's nice.
There we go.
Okay.
All right.
We'll go classy.
Married for 20 years, had 2 kids, marriage runs its course, you go your separate ways, and that's when we get to the good stuff.
Yeah. Tell us what happened.
So I discovered this sex site online and that really changed my life for the better, I think.
So it wasn't a date. So you're talking like dating apps. So you kind of avoided the Hinges.
Well, it's just a sex site. Yeah, didn't go onto any mainstream dating sites. I was just after one thing, discovered that I really had a passion for probably having a good time in the bedroom. So that was all I needed at that time.
Is it true that you had an encounter with 2 other people in the room at the same time?
2 men.
I did, yes. And that was recently I took a little trip to the other side of Australia, actually. I did have a friend there that I had met before. Yes, and he invited another friend. And it was a big build-up for me because it had been on my bucket list for the last year.
To have a threesome.
Absolutely. Look, everyone's different. That was just part of my bucket list.
Was it awkward at the start? Like,
not
how
at
do you get
awkward
into
at
it?
all. No.
Did you have
it was
a
just
champagne?
Amazing. I did.
Good. Did you have 5?
I had a couple. But it was actually much better than what I expected. It was just amazing. It was one of the nicest experiences, actually.
Because I always wonder, like, is it awkward where people put their hands, where they...
No, you know what? It just flowed. I think there was one there that had actually been experienced in this field before.
So you need a team leader to kind of steer the ship, and then you just go with it. And not to be 100%. Crude, but I'm going to ask the question that everyone wants to know. It was 2 men. Was there any crossing swords?
Not at all, no. One was sort of sitting on, probably, watching for a little bit while the action was happening.
Oh,
and,
that's no. One guy watching while the other guy does it. And then what's it like afterwards? Do you shake hands? Is there a sleepover? You'll be shocked to know I've never had a threesome.
Oh, I am shocked, actually. I am so shocked. I think we should talk about this another time off air. So
Charlotte's keen by the sounds of things, if you want.
Honestly, yes, I can plan it for you. I can organise it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How does it come about? How do you figure out who so on this website, you were actively seeking this. This is what you wanted to do?
No,
or was it
not
through
at all.
A conversation with this person that you knew?
A conversation with this person, yes, with one of the guys who was a bit more experienced in this field as well. So he brought in a friend.
He just said to you, I'm assuming on that Sunday night, hey, about tomorrow, what if I bring my mate Gaz along and he joins in on the fun?
Yeah, 100%. And I didn't have time to sort of stress about it, really.
Maybe that's the
I think
secret.
I woke up with an open mind. Yeah, having someone to organise the whole thing that you feel at ease with as well. It was really easy, but definitely put it on your list.
So how long ago was this, and has there been another one since?
Yeah, no, there hasn't been another one. That was probably maybe 6 months ago. There hasn't as yet, but never say never.
Wow. And not to be rude, but can I ask your age?
I am
Rough estimate.
mid-50s.
60s? So you had
mid-50s.
Oh, mid-50s.
Mid-50s, yeah.
So you had your first threesome in your mid-50s.
Exactly.
I love
See, you
that.
just don't know what's around the corner.
No,
I think once I hit menopause, I became very sexual.
I've heard that.
My sex drive went through the roof, and I think I've been having fun ever since.
There's got to be some upside to menopause.
Discreetly, of course.
I've got another friend who said that. She said because we all think that women lose their libidos the older they get.
And a lot of them do,
case.
though. So I think every woman is different. But I wasn't expecting this, but I've certainly made up for time.
Well, that's the next threesome being organised in the background. Right, better pick that one up. You don't want to miss it. Hey, Charlotte, thank you so much for being our very first Saucy Secretier. If you have got a saucy secret that you would like to share with it, we can keep you anonymous. We can give you a fake name. Slide into the DMs. We want to hear from you as well. The Instagram, of course, is
Jana_Hocking. It's always open. I'm always reading them. Please, we want your outlandish stories. Tell us.
Growing up, most of us go on camps and excursions and things like that, but you recently went on a very different type of camp, a retreat, an orgasm retreat.
You haven't been on one?
No.
I highly recommend it.
No.
So this came about because I was a columnist for the New York Post and we got wind of a story about women spending $15,000 to go into the middle of the Californian desert to learn how to orgasm.
Okay.
And I just got an email off my editor that simply said, "You're going." And I was like, woohoo. A week later, I was on a flight to LA, picked up a hire car, drove out into the middle of the Californian desert, and I was watching the houses slowly disperse and the, desert really open up. And all I kept thinking was, well, this is where I come to die. Like, this is a bit sus. So eventually I found this ranch. It was beautiful. And I arrived and Pamela, the sexologist there, she was swanning around in lingerie. And I was like, right, okay, just lean in. You've come all this way. Lean in. And she gathered all the women around, 16 women, one man, Court, who's a sexologist as well. And they basically said, all right, you've all come here to learn. They had a really weird way of putting it. They said it was basically how to reach orgasm.
Okay.
And I was expecting really woo-woo women.
Yeah.
Like, dreadlocks, gypsy women. But these women are spending $15,000. So they were kind of middle America, rich housewives.
So let's backtrack just a second because I want to know what this place looks like because I've got an image in my head and it's something out of a 50 Shades of Grey movie and it's a red room with a giant felt couch and a wall of every instrument on planet Earth. What did it look like?
That's pretty spot on.
Okay.
So there's the temple, which is, it's such a creepy name, but there's the temple where you have all your big classes.
Yes.
So your tantric meditation and your somatic touch,
right,
which is just really polite ways of saying touch your vulva and chant.
Yeah.
But as you do. But there are different rooms. So there's one-on-one rooms and they're set up like one's a cowboy room with sexy cowboy wear. Another one's just full of like cheetah print. And they kind of like, I don't know if you've ever been to a brothel.
No.
Okay.
No, not my thing.
Well, I have.
Like that?
On assignment again.
Of course you have.
And they each have different rooms with different themes. That's what this was like. It is very sexy, but it's also in the middle of the desert. It's very strange.
And so because obviously you're there for a very different purpose to everyone that are paying $15,000 to climb Mount Everest. What was it like when you first met these women? What was that initial interaction like? Was it weird? What are you saying to each other? Because obviously, you're all there to achieve a very specific purpose.
Yeah, it's so weird. So within the first hour, where everyone was nervous, everyone's sitting around awkwardly, they brought out this, what's it called,
Cheese board.
They brought out a cheese board.
a charcuterie. How do you say that?
I don't know. And
does anyone in this room know how to say cheese board the right way?
I can tell you.
What was that? Charcuterie.
So they brought out this gorgeous charcuterie board.
Good. Right.
And this is where I learnt my first lesson. So we're all eating, we're all starving.
Cheese cubes, cabanossi, all the really fancy stuff.
Listen, they had a pickled onion. And we're all eating it, trying to make small talk like, what do you do? Oh, you have kids? Oh, they're in high school, cute. And then Pamela swans in and she goes, how did you all eat the charcuterie board? And I was like, oh God, I just really hoed into it. I was starving. She goes, did you stand back and let other women go before you, or did you lean into and get what you wanted? And I was like, I'm really sorry. I was just starving. I really got into it. And she was like, no, that's how you should treat your orgasms.
Oh.
She said, don't stand back.
Go straight for the pickled onion.
Which I did.
Hello.
She goes, we're so used to as women, men taking what they want from sex and trying to please them. She was like, no. Ask for what you want. Dive in head first, metaphorically and literally, into what you want and get it. I was like, oh my God, I nailed the first lesson. Go me.
And I would imagine once you spend a bit of time with all of these women, you probably go, oh no, wait, they're relatively normal people, which probably relaxed everyone because like you said, they're not these woo-woo crazy types that are completely different from you.
What I found so interesting was a lot of them were divorced. So they had come because they either hadn't had an orgasm before, they'd been married for 20 years and didn't know what good sex was. Others, their husbands had left them for younger women and they were feeling a little bit insecure. And so they were like, well, if we're going back into the dating world, we want to be good at sex. And then there was some sadder cases of women who that had sexual trauma. And they were there to learn how to enjoy sex again.
So not so much for some people searching for something. A lot of it was reclaiming something or taking something back that had been taken from them.
As soon as we all figured out, because we had to go around in a circle and tell our story of why we were there. And I was like, well, I want a front page story in the New York Post. But everyone else, when they told their stories, it really bonded everyone. There was a 75-year-old woman who had been married twice and her biggest regret was with her second husband before he died. She just wasn't interested in sex. And she was sad. We were all crying because she was like, I want to reclaim sex again and enjoy it. I was like, yes, girl. She's getting on the dating scene again. Get it, queen. She was incredible. So there was women, there was a 22-year-old there and there was a 75-year-old there.
$15,000 to hopefully, reach the finish line.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
What happens at this kind of retreat?
I mean, the question is what doesn't happen?
Good point. Where did it start then?
Okay, it started with a tantric meditation. And this is when I went, oh, they're not mucking around here. So you're told at brunch, get into any clothes that make you feel comfortable, or if you want to, go naked. And I was like, oh God, I've got a photography here. I can't get naked. But a lot of the women, so everyone wore cute lace underwear, cute lace bras, but within minutes, everyone had taken it off. And do you know what? For $15,000, just get naked.
If you're going to do it properly,
Lean in. Yeah. So we're all lying on mats and first of all, we had to get in groups. So we each had a partner and we had to go back to back. And then we were told to put our hands on our vulvas.
Okay.
And then we had to rock back and forth, back to back. And talk to our vulvas and tell them what we want to be and what we think of our vulvas. So I was like, boss bitch, queen of the jungle. I was like, yes, girl, get it. And so everyone's chanting out all this stuff, but then we got the giggles because it was so funny.
What did you hear other people saying to their vulvas?
Oh my God, what didn't I hear? One girl started crying. She was like, I'm just really thankful for you. Others were like, you bring children into this world. Like that was a bit weird.
Did anyone's vulvas talk back?
Thankfully not. Thankfully not. But then we had to lie down on mats and they put blindfolds on us so we couldn't see anything, but we could hear everything. And then the helpers, I mean, it is giving slight cult vibes.
This will be a Netflix true crime documentary eventually, right?
Listen,
about the sex cult in the desert.
We're gonna hear something on 60 Minutes or Netflix or something. But so then you lie on mats and the helpers and Court and Pamela go around, and at first they'll like drag shells across your body. It's called somatic touch.
Right.
So you're finding out what turns you on. Or they'll do like wooden claws really gently. And then they start upping it a notch. And so at one stage, with permission, I had Court tie my ankles and my wrists together. It's called shibari rope play.
Okay.
It's a Japanese
Of course it is.
thing. And then he pinned me up like a pressed ham and then bent me over and growled in my ear. And I should have hated it. I loved it. I was like, oh, now I know we're into shibari play.
And this was like at the start.
This is the first day. But then the other thing was, and so then they do somatic touch and you find out what kind of touch you like, rough, sweet, gentle, do you like sounds? And then they adorned our bodies with crystals and fruit. And then you take off the mask and then you look at the people next to you and everyone's covered in flowers and fruit and crystals. I had this 75-year-old woman next to me. I started crying. Who was I? Like she just looked at her body like it was the most beautiful thing in the world. I was like, oh God, I've gone in too deep now. I'm crying over a 75-year-old woman. But what I didn't expect was while they were doing all the touch and play, women actually started having orgasms.
Straight away
Around me. Like they really liked touch.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh God, am I going to reach one? Like, should I be trying? But I was aware of the photographer, New York Post photographer taking pictures of me and the women around me. But then you go to lunch.
What happens then?
Then you just go to lunch and you have like some roast meats and some salads and talk about Taylor Swift's engagement.
So it literally goes from listening to someone having an orgasm within earshot of you to, did you hear what Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are doing at the moment?
Do you think they'll last? What are your thoughts? Yeah.
That is wild. And
wild.
did you debrief at all about what had just happened? Or it was like, oh, that's there. Let's have a normal conversation.
Not really.
Comparing notes. You like this, I like that.
No. And there was no alcohol. So even at the end of the day, you couldn't have a wine and be like, what about your orgasm?
Wow. And that was day one.
That was
all right.
day one.
Do I dare ask what happened on day two?
Day two was when we really got into the nitty gritty. So we were given notepads and we were told to take notes.
Jana has brought that notepad in with us, by the way. Where is?
Actually, do you want?
Please, I want.
Okay, I was reading some out to you before
close.
we started. The whole point of the retreat is to expose you to new ways to find an orgasmic state. You don't know what you want until you're aware of it. I surprisingly like ropes. Who knew? I even wrote, who knew?
Who knew?
Somatic touch is mostly edging until a slow then fast fingering. Listen, I'm glad I wrote that down. Peaking is building arousal and then slowing down, and then building again. Listen.
Like a real change of pace I'm getting from the notes.
The reason I wrote those notes is because I saw it play out in real life. So then Court and Pamela.
Who are the workers, they're the instructors, if you will.
Sexologists.
Yep.
He's 90% gay.
Okay.
But he said that 10% is fun. She's married and her husband, we're all in a temple. They get naked. He brings her to orgasm.
What, in front of you?
Yeah, we're all there with our notepads. You just read my notes. That's the notes I took as he was bringing her to orgasm.
Wow.
You need to edge, people. You need to edge. It got so boring. The foreplay was so long. I actually got bored. I was like, wind it up. Let's get to the orgasm. And her husband was out the front the whole time watering the gardens. while she was really putting
Having
on
her
a
garden
show.
watered inside.
Literally. Yeah, it was fascinating. And then we did fantasy play where you had to have a partner and you both played out fantasies together to see what fantasy you
Do I
liked.
dare ask what?
I was a schoolgirl.
Okay.
My partner was the teacher.
Okay.
And everyone really enjoyed that. But in the end, I just got a bit bored.
And what's the instructor, 90% gay instructors?
Court box is really good.
So you said earlier that there were almost breakout rooms where you could go for one-on-one sessions.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that there were women that could go for one-on-one sessions with either of the sexologists?
Either or both.
And that happened?
Yeah, that happens. That's for the $15,000. So for a 3-day retreat, it's like $700, and the only touching is the somatic touch where they like put like shells over you or whisper in your ear. For the $15,000, you have one-on-one sessions, one a day for 7 days, if you choose, where they will bring you to orgasm themselves.
Sounds like a very different industry.
Yeah. There were questions.
Sexologist and sessions.
It's called touch therapy, I think is the word it goes by. And it's a real thing. But yeah, questions.
What was the most crazy, insane thing you saw with your own two eyes that happened over the 3 days that you were at this retreat?
I mean, I saw a lot of orgasms from a lot of women. And I mean, him bringing her to orgasm while we just sat there in the middle of the day with notebooks is probably the wildest thing I saw. And then he tied her up and did a shibari rope play with sexy music.
What was the music? What was the music?
I think there was...
You can leave your hat on or something like that?
It was like Chris Isaac. What's the song? Yeah, that kind of music. They had a whole Spotify list. And then I was traumatized because halfway through it, I got my phone out and I was Shazamming the songs because they were
And that's now your bedroom playlist.
I'm not even joking.
You got something from it. So for the women that were there that were trying to take back something that for whatever reason they'd lost, I'm assuming it was a transformative experience for them. You know, we laugh and joke and how funny this whole thing seems on the surface.
Yeah.
If you happen to have $15,000, let's just say that's everyone, is it something that you would recommend? Like, was it worth your time?
Yeah. If I had the money to play with, I definitely would, because I actually came out of that retreat straight into the arms of an ex-boyfriend because what else am I going to do?
Yeah.
And it worked.
Yeah.
It really worked. I learnt the whole point of it was women are really performative in the bedroom without even realizing we are. We're so in our heads. We're so worried. Are they having a good time? Mm-hmm. Do they sound like they're having a good time? What if I do this? Will this make him happy? That we forget to be in our own bodies and do we like that? Is that fun? Oh, I actually don't care for jackhammering. No, I prefer when he does this. So the whole point was teaching us, well, what do we like? We're going to introduce you to all these kinks.
Yep.
You decide which ones you like, and then bring yourself back into your body and ask yourself whether you're enjoying it, what you enjoy, and then guide the man from there into doing what you like.
And when it had all finished, what were the conversations like with the other people that were doing the course?
We were really bonded by the end of it. We actually became really good friends. And
is there a group chat?
No,
imagine
not with
that group
me,
chat
because I was the journo.
Yeah,
so
they
that
don't
was
let you in.
Weird. Yeah,
she can't say too much.
They have a group chat, but they all signed up for the next retreat. I would say about 70% of the women signed up. Some of them go at least 4 times a year.
All right. I feel like this is the obvious question, and it's the question I wanted to ask from the moment I saw this on our run sheet. $15,000 orgasm retreat, $15,000 orgasm retreat. You said that you heard pretty much everyone there at one point or another. They got where they wanted to go. They reached that finish line. Did you climb Mount Everest? Did you get where you needed to be? Did you reach the finish line?
I did not. Oh. I was the only girl at orgasm camp not to reach an orgasm. No award, no gold medal. And I did drive out of that desert so disappointed in myself. I had one a week later, if that makes up.
Doesn't count. This is Saucy Secrets on KISS with your no-filter sex and dating columnist, Jana Hocking. All thanks to Juju. And at the end of the show, For those watching on YouTube, this bad boy that I'm holding in my hands, we are giving away one of these at the end of the show. It's called a We Vibe wand, all right? And they bring thunderous bed-shaking pleasure. Say goodbye to boring nights. Get your O-face ready at juju, joujou.com.au. And we are going to give one of those away towards the end of the show. So make sure you keep listening, keep watching. Brothels.
Yeah.
Next topic of conversation on the show tonight. It's not something that I've had anything to do with. It's not a place that I frequent. But apparently, not only is it incredibly common, but there are weird and wonderful ways that men are getting caught in said establishments.
Yes. Oh, precious, precious men. Listen, they do say that men have two options. They think through their brain or they think through their pants. And they cannot think with both at the same time.
Well, men can't multitask, let's be honest.
No, they really can't. And thank God, because it makes for a great story. So this brothel owner called Catherine Denoir, or as our producer Taylor says, Denoir.
No, we did have an extensive debate as to how to pronounce her name. If you're listening, Catherine, we're really sorry if we got that wrong.
We've just butchered your name. We're very sorry. But she does own one of the largest brothels in Europe, and she's speaking out. And here's my thing. If you're going to a brothel, you don't want to go to one where the madam is speaking out.
Isn't discretion important with places like these?
Yeah, I really feel like it should be. But thankfully for us, she's not. So she's come out and she's spoken to a journalist and told of the many different ways men have been caught at her brothel. And she's had screaming wives turning up, demanding.
Not good for business.
Not great for business, but great for us. So she said that a lot of men get caught by leaving their phone location on. So you're married. Do you have Find My Friends with your wife?
No, I don't. I've never had it at all.
Oh, really?
No, never.
Oh, you need to check that because actually now a lot of wives are putting AirTags in their men's
Maybe because I'm
cars.
really boring and she knows that I'm not going to go anywhere and do anything, so there's no real need.
Well, a lot of people do. They have Find My Friends locations on with their partners, and these men just forget to turn them off, and then all of a sudden their wife is like, why is my husband at the White Rabbit?
So there are people out there that are literally checking the Find My Friend just because, and it's what they do all day to see where they're up to and what they're doing.
Two of my best friends know my location at all times, but that's just because.
Oh, the job that you do, we need to know where you are and make sure you're safe.
We need to know where I am. But sometimes I'll forget that they're following me.
Yep.
And I'll be like, oh, sorry, I'm on my way. And they're like, no, you're not. We can still see you're still at home. So
you can't be late.
Turn your locations off. Oh, this other way that men are finding out is so dumb. So they're withdrawing large sums of money from the couple's joint account.
That seems silly to me.
But from the brothel ATM.
Because you can see that on your bank statement where it's been withdrawn from.
Yeah. And they're turning up in brothels. She said there was one man that directly transferred from his joint bank account with his partner to a personal account of the sex worker he was seeing.
What do you think that comes up with? What that comes up as on the statement?
Like Trixie Belle or Candy? She said men, like women, were typically very angry, but she said there was one man she saw, the wife turned up and was going ballistic. And she said the man actually flipped it on her and started calling her a stalker and psychotic.
Bit of good old-fashioned gaslighting. Hey, I'm doing the wrong thing, but it's your problem.
But you need
How
to
dare
back
you?
off.
From your experience, with sex and dating and all that kind of stuff, is brothel visits, is it a common thing?
Super common, super common. I know a lot of men that go in their lunch breaks.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they see it as therapy. They're just letting off a bit of steam.
And are these people that are in relationships?
I would say most of them are in relationships. I worked at one place where it was just common knowledge.
I mean, forget the F45 class. I'm off to get my cardio somewhere else.
Well, it begs the question, which will probably be another topic, but if you go to a rub and tug or you get a happy ending, is that technically cheating?
Well, I mean, I feel like it absolutely is, right?
Well, that's a debate for another day. But do you know what else? She also put in how men are actually getting away with being to brothels. And I found that more interesting than the men that are getting caught. Mm-hmm. So she said things like, men will come during their lunch breaks. See, I'm telling you, lunch breaks are a thing.
I mean, a lot of men are sprinters, I guess. It's not exactly a marathon, so they don't need time, right?
It does not surprise me at all. They're leaving their phone in the office. They're turning off their shared location. I love that a lot of men are getting money out at ATMs really, really far from a brothel.
It's a lot of admin, isn't it? It's a lot of admin.
For the best 2 minutes of their lives.
Right?
Yeah. So, she said they also bring cash. They never withdraw money nearby. They keep no receipts. And they take a shower after the session. So there's no central
Well, that feels like a no-brainer, right?
I mean, that's just good manners.
Why do blokes do this? Because it feels like it's really fraught with danger.
Yeah, it really is. But for a lot of men, I get a lot of men slide into my DMs and tell me why. Most of them are usually, my wife doesn't want to have sex anymore. She's lost her libido. She's not interested. I'm still a man. I still have needs. But then there are other men who have kinks that they want to explore and they don't feel comfortable doing it with their wives. So they go explore these kinks elsewhere. That's the most common. So
instead of just having, probably an uncomfortable conversation with their partner, they go, no, wait a minute. The best way to deal with this is to go and sleep with someone else at a brothel and go through all those outrageous steps you outlined before to completely get away with it and lead a double life.
Yeah. Or then there's just the men who just want to feel like a legend.
Oh, yeah.
And they're still getting it at home. They're in perfectly loving marriages, but they want to feel like a real legend.
Lads. Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the stats, the details. What is it that gets Australians going in the bedroom? Because we have got the sex census data in front of us.
Yes. So the biggest question was, what is Australia's top turn on? And I call utter bullshit on this one because last year it was everyone was turned on by threesomes. Sure. Okay, I get that. Like I might have seen it on some certain channels that I like to subscribe to. But this year, the biggest turn on was slow build romantic seduction. Snore.
Romance is sexy as well. What do you mean? Light a couple of candles, sprinkle some rose petals on the bed, whisper sweet nothings into each other's ears, some light tickling. I don't know.
Okay, I'm learning a lot about you right now.
I said too much?
I'm learning a lot, and maybe you were one of the people that
put on some Enya in the background, some Orinoco flow,
Like if I
That's
was
not hot.
a guy I just lost my heart on. But sure. Okay. I just don't believe it. The sales of erotic books at the moment are through the roof. And they're not going, oh, let me stop and light a candle and put on Enya. They're like, and then in the barn, he threw me against the wall while the cows were watching and we got it on roughly.
Are you questioning the integrity of the 2025 body and soul sex census? Are you suggesting that people are lying?
I want to know who they asked because I just don't believe that the biggest turn on was like, you look really pretty, let's have slow sensual
People
sex.
filling out forms in front of their partners. That's probably who's written that. Yes. Oh no, I'm all about the romance.
You're so right. There was another interesting one. So 1 in 3 Aussies say their sexuality has become more open and fluid over time.
Okay.
I would believe that.
Yep.
I would believe.
I guess as like community norms and things become more progressive over time, a lot of people are like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, do you, boo. There's a lot of women over 40. There was an article in the Times recently saying that women in their 40s post-divorce are becoming late-set lesbians. And I kind of get it. They've had years
Blokes
putting
are
up
useless,
with men.
let's be honest. We are completely useless.
I think we get a late-set lesbian to come on the show and tell us about it.
How useless
so we'll
blokes
look into that. Another one was, this is not surprising. Missionary and doggy style are still the most common sexual positions deployed by the nation. Yeah, that's true. Like sometimes you just want comfort. Oh, this one upset me. Oral sex is more common in casual relationships than it is for long-term unions. Why?
Is that because it's like naughty and exciting? So when you first meet someone, I don't know.
Is it because
you're the expert? Why are you asking me?
Well, I think at the start you're really trying to impress each other.
Yeah.
So you're going to that extra effort. Now, I haven't been in a long-term relationship for a very long. I don't want to shock you, but I haven't been in a long-term.
You'd have nothing to write about if that was the case.
I've been in a lot of situationships, and we are very giving in our situationships. So to find out that like couples aren't giving each other oral sex anymore, it just makes me sad.
Maybe that relates to one of these other stats. And to be honest, I looked at this and was somewhat surprised that 64% of people are satisfied with their sex lives. Does that feel high?
No, that feels grim. Why only
I thought it was high for some reason.
What?
Yeah.
No. What? 64%?
I thought it might be lower than that.
I just find that sad. Like, I don't want to be getting to 50 and 60 and being like, I'm not interested.
So you're suggesting if we up the oral sex later on in the relationship, that stat will go even higher?
Listen, I'm just saying, give it a go. Bring it back. Bring back the oral sex.
Now, sex tech has become a thriving industry as well, and a lot of people are using them more so than what I thought was the case.
Oh, you mean sex toys?
Yes, sex tech.
Yeah, I've got WhatsApp groups we've named after our favourite sex toys.
Really? Obviously all juju sex toys naturally is what they're all named after.
Obviously. Especially this purple one here is listen, I've been using it all week and it's incredible. It's called the 1-2 and I highly recommend it, and it comes in a pretty purple colour.
43% of Aussies are using vibrators regularly or occasionally.
I think that's a very polite estimate.
You think it's higher than that?
Well, I did a check with all my girlfriends and I would say it's 80%. And a lot of them, I didn't use one until lockdown.
Yep.
And lockdown was long and I was getting sent a lot from companies. Thankfully, yes, I did get the Juju one. And that's when I discovered a love for them. And if you look at the statistics, this sex toy brand was one of the bare minimum businesses that thrived during lockdown. So I would say a lot more women use them than their husbands probably know.
And I'm assuming most of the time they're used when it's a person on their own. But how often are they being used and brought into the bedroom with a sexual partner?
Not necessarily. I know a lot of guys that get off on watching their partner use one. But then I also know a lot of guys who are intimidated by it.
100%.
Yeah, my Ask Jana column, we get at least one question a week. That's, my wife brought a vibrator into the bedroom. I'm so horrified. How can I compete? I had one guy message me once and he was like, my wife got a really, really big one and now I can't get it up because I'm so traumatized.
And they've got batteries that, let's be honest, most blokes cannot keep up with. But if you are looking to bring sex tech into the bedroom, there obviously is an obvious place to turn, and that is the legends at Juju, jou.com.au. We've been mentioning all show that we do have one to give away, and we've got one here. It is the WeVibe Wand 2. Before we tell our fine listeners and viewers, I do love that it's got an instructional for the YouTube viewers.
Yeah.
Can you see on the back?
See?
Wondering.
And here's the thing, for all the men that are intimidated by it, no, if you want to please your partner, bring it out. And it even gives you handy instructions.
I didn't realise that was the sex toy in the photo when I first looked at it, to be honest. I thought that was something else. All right, before we tell people how to win this, you've given this a crack, you've road tested it.
Yes. So
Thoughts?
what many men don't know is that women don't necessarily literally come from insertion. We're all about the clit. Now, this is designed for the clit, and that's where a lot of women will be brought to orgasm.
This giant thing is designed for...
Don't be deceived by how big it is. You just want to place it at the
See,
front.
look, I'm already getting intimidated by it.
No, I swear it's really, really good. So I used it, sadly. I am so tragically single at the moment, so I just used it on myself. But you can use it with a partner, and yeah, I mean, men come so easily. If you want your lady to come, I highly recommend this one because it really did the job for me this week. 10 stars.
So if you want to pick up one of these WeVibe wands from the legends at Juju, kiss.com.au, jump on there now. We could send it your way. Not the ones that we've been handling, by the way. It'll be beautifully clean.
We'll keep those.
Hey, that's the first show done. Wow. We got there.
We're still on air.
I know, right? I mean, who knows? The plug might have been pulled and we're just sitting in here yapping on. Thank you. That was fun.
I loved it. I loved every second.
If you've got a saucy secret, if you've got something you'd like to admit, your DMs are always open, right?
Always open.
For the good, the bad and the ugly.
I have no word filters. So send me your raunch, your filth. Send me everything.
The Instagram handle is?
At Jana_Hocking, Jana. Jana, not Jana. Jana Hocking. And slide on in. I welcome your DMs.
We will cross fingers, we will cross toes that the media regulatory bodies don't cancel this show after one episode, and we are all back next week. It has been an absolute pleasure.
I've adored it. Thank you.
We'll do it again next week. Saucy Secrets on Kiss.